We went from Johnny Tsunami to Cock and Ball T-rture to your new EP.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
We're great with conversation. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm speechless to think that I'm gonna have to edit this now and realize we're gonna get fucking copyrighted by Disney Channel for talking about Johnny Tsunami this way.
I love my life. I love my family. I love my wife. I love my children. I love my wife. I love my family. I love my children with my whole heart. I love my dog.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another Not-So Impromptu Interview. Today is Saturday, March 6th, and today I am with the only band that knows how to say yes to every show and yet no to every other show they don't want to play. It is the Chonks. How are we doing, gentlemen? How's it going? Happy Saturday. Happy March. How are you guys doing today?
Slick.
Not too bad.
It's a good day.
Yeah.
Sunny, Southern California.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, we can brag that we're not in snow right now.
We can brag about that.
Yeah.
We can brag about how we still have electricity as well.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you can support your fellow Texians during these times, please donate.
Yeah, absolutely wholesome. A wholesome way to start this interview. So I want to start this all off by asking, how does it feel to not have a Chonk show happening almost every Friday in either East LA or downtown?
Almost relaxing in a way. It's like, it's like one of those things where, for like the longest time that just sort of became like part of my schedule. It was just like, at least once a week I'm playing a show with these guys. And, in a way, I never really thought much of it, and then when it stopped happening, I was kind of sad at first, but then I was like, wait, I kind of don't have to drive from Santa Clarita down to downtown LA and then drive back at like 2 or 3 in the morning every single weekend. That's kind of nice.
I'm used to it, I feel like.
I am depressed and I have show dreams all the time.
Really?
And that's what I find myself staring off into the distance, just staring at nothing, thinking, oh, I could be blasting somebody's face off right now.
Yeah, I miss having other people playing, watching them, and having someone put on a show.
Yeah, and I miss the interset shenanigans of when you get to go out after your favorite band plays and smoke, and then be like, oh, is anybody gonna stay for the last band? Nope.
No.
Almost always a no.
Unfortunately, so.
Yeah, no, it's something where, I at first, like them, I was like sad about it, but then, after, I try to look at it in more of a lighter view of like being like, well, at least I don't have to drive to, downtown every single weekend now. But at the same time, it's like, of course I fucking miss it. That's like, it was my lifestyle for, as long as I can remember. So
yeah, I never realized how much my social life revolved around seeing my friends out and meeting people out in these different random little nooks and crannies of LA. And on tour too, like shit. We were supposed to go on tour over the summer, but that did not happen. Obviously.
So, is that tour going to happen eventually when things can come back to normal? Or is that kind of like out of the plans now at this point?
Yeah, pretty much like the way we see it is like whenever we can play a show or whenever we can start gigging again where it's safe enough to do so, we're just going to hit the ground running. Like, just tour immediately, just like at this point, like, we haven't played a show in exactly a year. And it's one of those things where we've held back for long enough. Obviously, it wasn't really our choice. Everyone else had to, be on standby as well. But, I feel like for us, like, we're still like dangling in the air with our feet, like just running at full speed. And then like, as soon as we hit the ground, it's just gonna be, like,
Yeah. Do you guys, would you prefer it that the first show back is you playing or you watching? Because I know some bands are like, I would want to see how it goes first before like playing my first show back after like a year of quarantine. Or is it like more, no, I want to be the band that like breaks the whole wait period?
I feel like we've always sort of been the band to just like do things. Well, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but like to sort of like, just go out and do things first.
Why wait?
Like, we were always just sort of like, why wait? Like, what let's just fucking do it.
But then again, if there's a Dinosaur Jr. show or something.
Yeah. I mean,
We'll go
like,
watch
if the Dinosaur Jr. show tends to happen before a Chonks show, yeah, of course we'll see that happen before. But, you know, it's like something where, you know, if we were to get offered a show and it's safe enough, like, why would we wait? Yeah, let's just fucking do it.
Right. So basically, I noticed that shows stopped almost kind of after people were like catching on that Locomotion, your official debuted on like most streaming services out, and then it kind of just like fell apart. You know what I mean? So I do want to take a look back real quick on that album, Locomotion. Why that name? Like, why that phrasing of the word? Because the last thing I think of when thinking anything related to your band, it's low is like the last thing I want to put out there, because it's mostly been like high energy or like you're high or the sky's high or something, you know, anything but low for the Chonks is something that I never thought of. So why the spelling of low and then commotion?
Well, if I remember correctly, it wasn't. I don't think it was any of us who named that album. I think it was our drummer at the time. And I remember, like, at the time we were listening to a lot of jazz, and I think there was a song about a locomotive or something like that.
Some trains.
Yeah, and we were also just like into like, you know, play like words, like playing around with words, so to say, like with the you know, the spelling and meanings of words, and so like that was just sort of already, you know, it was already our shtick, like, to begin with, and so we just like took that like for the album. But you know, again, it's one of those things where, you know, looking back at it, like, I don't remember exactly how.
Pretty sure I named it.
You named it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, usually our names come from like a group process of like suggestions and then like misunderstanding.
That's true.
And like being like, wait, what did you say? And like, how do you mean that or something? Like, I don't know, for Locomotion, like, I was just down to do it because, I don't know, I like the imagery. It's just a low commotion. Like, imagine if we were playing a set underwater. I don't know why, it made me think of that. And like with our album cover too that we created, like we made that ourselves out of like a broken mirror and like this weird art project we all did in like middle school and put it together. And yeah, we did it like right here.
Oh, so we are filming right where the album was made.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right there.
Yeah,
that's iconic.
Where the album cover was made. The album was made in this guy's house, Ryden, who played in Karomi and what was the other bands? Alice and Matter Room. Yeah.
Shouts out,
Ryden.
Shouts out. But you know, just it's the funny thing about that album is that title of the album is like the least wild title of a Chonks related project. Because when looking at like the actual songs on the album, you have titles like "Hey Mister, That's My Radiohead CD," and "Teenage Fucktard." So, is there always like a deeper meaning or a story behind these titles of your work, or is it like you said, Liam, like it's like you throw out just random titles and someone's just like, "Yeah, that works," and then it just kind of happens, and it could stay an inside joke for however long?
Normally, most of our titles are inside jokes, no matter what. So there's always some sort of history that we just know to ourselves.
Hey Mister's pretty random though. You just told me, hey, I've got this riff, and I was thinking about calling it "Hey Mister, That's My Radiohead CD," and so we just never argued with them. We're just like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
well, that's what we're gonna name it.
That's just sort of like how the songs, well, like, you know.
And then that inspired my lyrics. I was like, oh, okay, so I have to sing about, maybe I'm at the park, I see someone listening to my Radiohead CD. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, and I feel like with the weird names, so a lot of the time what would happen is when we were writing up multiple new songs, because like usually we won't incorporate like one song at a time. We'll like write up a few new tunes, and then they'll kind of be unnamed, or like I can't really remember which one is which, but I know the song, like we can play it and we'll play it good, but like I'll be like, wait, what is that even called? Like which one? Or we'll be writing down a set list and I'll be like, wait, I don't know what any of these songs are. Like, so the outrageous names kind of help me with like remembering what song is what when we initially create it.
true.
Yeah, it's always like, I remember like in our early days, like when we didn't have that many like weird song names, so to say, it would be something where like, playing with them, I'll get frustrated because they would just be like, "Wait, what is this song on the set list?" or something like that. I'm just like, we literally played this like right before, like, and I would have to like instead of telling them like what the song is, I would have to tell them the structure and then they would be like, "Oh yeah, like I remember that one," and so then it just got to the point where I figured like the more outlandish the song names are, the easier for us to remember the song names. So why not?
Yeah, it kind of helps with that.
I like Locomotion, the name of the album, because it's almost ironic, because it's like you wouldn't want music to be like to invoke a low commotion. Yeah. So it's kind of like that's the opposite or the antithesis of what you would stand for or hope for in some punk music. But so I think that's kind of why it worked. We were just like, yeah, low commotion, because I mean maybe it'll make a low commotion, but hopefully it won't.
Yeah, and then if you think that like all those song names are weird, like just wait for our upcoming EP. Like that's just gonna be a whole nother.
Yeah. So, I mean, are titles like the last thing that come out of you guys? So like songs, album compilations, order structures of songs, and then it's like the titles of everything.
Well, they usually depend.
It depends normally. Like there's been times where like we would write a song and like one of us would just be like, this is what we call it, like right then and there, because it's just how we're feeling.
Yeah.
But then there would be like another time where like one of our songs on that we're about to release, it's titled Nude Song, and before that we just would call it New Song.
Oh yeah.
And so it was something where like we for like the longest time we just didn't have a name for it, and then just because we would just call it the New Song like all the time, we were just like, why don't we just call it the New? But like.
It's also like a typo. It's just like it's NEWD.
Yeah, so like we don't spell it like the way you would spell nude.
Yeah, I think
like,
when I was organizing files, I was like typing shit and put a D behind new by accident.
Yeah,
it just stuck.
Or like it was either that or like one of us mispronounced it one day and then we were just like, okay, that's what we're gonna.
It's just like wouldn't it be funny if we just kept calling it Nude Song?
Yeah, that's just the way we thought of it. We were just like, we already called it.
I have another good anecdote similar along those lines where we had an untitled song, and then I went and I just looked up synonyms for untitled, and I found this word ignoble, which means like not worthy of a title, pretty much. And I was like, that's a sick name. We should name it Ignoble.
Yeah, and that was the single released for that was the single that we released for Locomotion, if I remember correctly.
Is Ignoble?
Oh. No.
Pretty sure it was.
It was Gonerism.
Oh yeah, no, it was Gonerism.
Is Ignoble on Locomotion?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's interesting, Duncan, that you actually bring that up, that you like wanted to actually take the time to not call it on title, because one of the questions I thought of when looking at just Chonks songs and then like looking back on just any other band stuff, do you guys think titles of albums and or songs should hold a certain significance for the way one approaches the art, or is it more of a like don't judge a book by its cover kind of mindset for you guys?
For us, I feel like it's probably a don't judge a book by its cover mindset. But, for other people, it's however you want to make it. It's like if someone walks in and, like sees our song names and album covers and whatever, and they're just like, oh, this is the weirdest shit, I'm not going to listen to it.
I feel like it's an interesting path to go down. Like, I feel like we're a really serious band, but we're also really ironic and really like down for fun and just like want to bring light to seriousness, because I feel like funny ironic topics can also be serious. Like people forget that's like part of everyday life that you can't fucking let go of. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like you
don't want life to be so bleak.
Yeah, we always just tried to make things, like if like life would hit us like just at hard, like at certain times, instead of just plumbing about it, we would just joke about like how hard life would fuck us over. We would just be like, like the other day my fucking car broke down on the freeway, and I'll just laugh about it,
Right.
It wasn't like something where we would say it as a sob story. We were just like, man, fuck this shit, this is hilarious.
Punk, especially experimental punk, tends to be really good for that. It's like all about fun in the face of danger and playfulness and just kind of like taking something serious and turning it light.
Yeah.
But also, I think we've always prided ourselves on having song names that had nothing to do with the song. Like Leprosy is Not a Curse.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with leprosy.
We played it, and Yali would
Yeah.
call it Leprosy is Not a Curse. And we're like, okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But then there's other times where like the song name is just the lyrics from the chorus or the hook, and it's simple, and it's just like that works too.
Yeah.
What else?
But even then, like the lyrics of the hook would have nothing to do with like the verse. You know, it'd be like, oh yeah, we pulled this like this title out of the chorus line, but the chorus would have nothing to do with the verse.
Or the rest of the song, right?
Yeah, or the rest of the song in general.
It's always different. It's like whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever you're feeling.
We just like, I don't know. I feel like having stuff like always being related to one another, like it can get boring from time to time. You know.
What do you guys think about people who spend nights on end just thinking of the perfect title for a song? Like I can imagine someone like, I don't know, let's talk about like Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails. I can imagine this fool stays up every single night thinking that Hurt wasn't the right song title for that song, and yet it's probably the biggest Nine Inch Nails song ever, but I know he probably hates the title of it. Like, what do you guys think about people who want to make sure this song title describes the song perfectly?
For me, that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like we all create music on our own too a bit, so it could be a different process for each of us. But like I am terrible at naming things also. I always just call tracks what comes to me. I feel like being in the Chonks has kind of just influenced my process in that way, where I don't want to force anything, and I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I curated this name so tough. Like obviously I have respect for people who do that, and like sure, that's a cool process, but like that's not my thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I always have regrets when I like don't let something just come to me. Like I don't wake up and feel like, oh yeah, this is fine. Like this is cool.
Yeah.
Like if it, I don't know.
We usually spend a long time trying to name our EPs and albums though. Like Locomotion took a while, and this new EP's been kind of on the fence for a while. Well, I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't touch on the EP too much. I will get to it, but I want to just ask, do you have a title for it yet?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Title is Imanust Ynnhoj,
Ooh.
which is Johnny Tsunami backwards.
No, you didn't.
Familiar with what Johnny Tsunami is? It is
no.
from the 90s.
Oh
about
no.
A Hawaiian kid who moves to New England and becomes a snowboarder. So as you can imagine, it entails a lot of ska in the movie, and so it's personally just been something I've been involved with for a lot, and I was able to show these fellas the magical movie as well.
I'd seen it before.
Duncan has seen it before.
Well, isn't it based on Duncan's life? Like moving from Hawaii, starting a band. All he wants to do is snowboard or surfboard or skateboard or whatever.
No.
I feel like in a way, Johnny Tsunami is in all of us.
Johnny Tsunami
like
is in
we
all of us.
like. There's been something where like in one point in time, like we've been displaced from each other, and like whether it be like current or like recent or a while ago, like. But it was something where like even during those times where we were all like away from each other or just away from home, like we would adapt to like have fun in that area. Like for example, like when I was 17, I lived in Israel for 2 months, and it was something where obviously going from California to Israel was a huge culture change. But I was also living with a bunch of people who were not even from the West Coast. I was living with bunch of East Coast and Midwest sort of folks, and so that was already a huge change for me because I never really like hung out with people like that or just like been with a group of people like that for like a long period of time. But it was something where like at first like like Johnny Tsunami in the movie, I was miserable, but then I
believe this dude.
but then I made it my own. I had fun, and I took over, like I was staying in like a dorm room, and I took over the music room that they had there. So I just like would go in there every day and just like, play like music for like 3 or 4 hours a day. It was a lot of fun,
I can't believe you just made a serious answer out of basically revealing that you named your EP after Johnny Tsunami the Disney Channel movie. I kind of hate that you did that, but I kind of love that you did that. And now this is going to be in the interview.
Said before, we're like, you know, we're a serious fan, but we don't take ourselves seriously. Like, you know,
I just didn't imagine that this interview would take a turn into me talking about Johnny Tsunami with you guys. Like, that's the last fucking thing I thought I was going to talk about.
My sob story about like how I got sent off to Israel.
Yeah. Like I really thought I was going to talk more about Duncan playing naked on stage before talking about a 90s Disney Channel movie made for kids.
That surprisingly has not happened yet.
Yes, I don't think that is.
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet. I'm pretty sure like
Yeah.
out of all of us, I've probably been the one person to go the most
Get
the closest to nude on stage, and that was just I performed in my underwear one time.
Just the underwear?
Yeah, just underwear.
You're not going to do the sock on the cock kind of thing that the great Chili Peppers once did?
And I wasn't trying to risk that.
Okay.
We've talked about it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to catch a case like for putting a sock on my cock. That's not really
Morrison shit.
You know, I was also thinking about it too. Like, there's no way to know that it's going to fall off or not. Like, do you just got to like rubber band it?
Yeah, fuck. That's
You know what I mean? But then like that cuts circulation off.
Well, I thought of using glue, but that might hurt tearing it off. You know.
What kind of glue? Elmer's glue?
Super glue, obviously.
Just
Super glue?
fill the sock, then put the sock on.
Yeah, and then just like leave it on there for like 72 hours and just tear it off. Hopefully, you have like a pickup truck or something to help you out with that. That'd be nice.
This is amazing. I can't believe we're talking about the third sequel to Johnny Tsunami, Back on His Cock.
Johnny Tsunami, cock and ball torture.
Yeah, cock and ball torture. He thought he was back on board. No, sir.
Only on OnlyFans, not.
Yeah, only on OnlyFans. This is going to be like 2025 when.
Oh yeah, we have an OnlyFans coming soon.
Yeah, we're gonna make.
Oh yeah.
You can pay us $5 for photos of our feet or photos of our anuses. It's worth the money, I would say, right?
Right, but you're not allowed to share the photos.
I mean, unless you buy them.
No.
Like, yeah.
You gotta pay the money.
Yeah, you gotta pay up. You know, we're not.
Right. Yeah, obviously. I mean, steal your music, but don't steal your OnlyFans content.
Yeah, don't steal my nudes.
Steal our music.
Steal our music. Do not steal my nudes. That's my only rule in life, honestly.
That's the new Chonks shirt: is steal my music, not my nudes.
Steal my music.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's
Honestly,
not a bad idea.
It's funny that you mentioned that because the other day I was like, you know, trying to figure out like, man, I wonder like how many people have just like legally downloaded our music. And I was like trying to get those numbers, but I couldn't, well, for obvious reasons. But it was, you know, it was a little like just delve I took myself into yesterday for just an hour or two.
Well, what do you guys think about that though? Like, what do you think about the profiting of music, especially in these days? Because back when like the whole Napster Metallica thing happened, like that was a huge deal because no one thought that like stealing music could be a possibility. And now we have streaming services where bands are barely making any money. And here we are in 2021, bands are like now memeing the one day bands can actually make profit, which is Bandcamp Friday. And it's like, it's a joke to so many people, but yeah, it's really the only day any smaller band can make any money off their music. Yeah.
Spotify pretty much steals our music already.
Yeah, they paid us out. Like I want to say, you know, to get our music on Spotify, we had to pay a small fee or something like that. You know, to be able to have. It was not just Spotify though; it was like iTunes and all that stuff as well. And I remember like crunching up the numbers like after a year of like you know, however long our first album was out, and I just remember like looking at all the breakdowns by like, you know, streams and all that. We pretty much made $5, you know, after we made back the 20 that we paid.
5 big ones.
Yeah, so, you know, obviously I'm not gonna really bash too much on Spotify because I realize that's like, you know, a major streaming platform that most people use, and you know, of course, it's like if I'm gonna tell people like, oh, don't use Spotify, everyone's just gonna be like, LOL, what's this loser talking about? But you know, I always try to joke or like make some sort of post about like Bandcamp Friday to like let people know, because I'm just like, hey, you know, like this is literally the day that can help us out, help out any sort of musician the most. And it's something where it kind of sucks that that's the only available thing that is allowing artists to receive 100% of sales. Because before, the only other possible way that could happen is if you're selling like your cassette tapes or vinyls or whatever at a show, and that's if the venue doesn't want to take away a cut of percentage for merch sales. If they're not going to be dicks about it, if they're going to be like, yeah, you can keep 100% of your merch, but sometimes most venues are like, oh, we want to take away like 10 or 15% away of your sales from merch, which is only your merch. So it's like but long story short, what I'm trying to round down to is that every single day the music industry will just try to find more and more ways to fuck over artists like ourselves and everyone that's we're involved with, or just whoever we like. But we're always going to find a way to just dodge those sort of obstacles that they throw in our way, and just sort of hopefully make as much money as we can from our own music, and not have Spotify receive like more money than we would be making. But it's going to be one step at a time. But I feel like Bandcamp's going to start off with this, and then I feel like SoundCloud will probably be the next people to like pave the way of like being able to donate like 100% of your funds to artists or something like that. And then by the time when that could affect like iTunes and Spotify like financially, like they will change over to like where they can pay out more artists. But for now, it's not affecting them because no one gives a shit about artists. Most popular artists have the majority of listeners anyway, so they're getting paid out the most. It's not like they would give like advice on like, oh, like don't stream stuff on Spotify because they're doing well on Spotify. They're not going to advocate for to help out smaller artists, because why would they help us out?
Right.
I'd say the words industry and artists don't really mix. They're like oil and water. I feel like it's kind of a contradiction putting art into an industry and trying to commodify this music, because everybody and their fucking mom values art in some way and they consume art in their everyday lives, but they don't actually value the artist and the work that it's coming down to. Like, there's so much media nowadays that it's just taken for granted as fuck. So it's like you could put months of work into something and then somebody will be like, oh, release more music the next week, give us more. But then like you try to sell them a shirt and they're like, oh no, I only want to pay like $5.
Yeah. Or like, not even related to like music, but like, we're me and Liam, we go to CalArts, and it's like we're friends with a ton of graphic designers who like also deal with this same sort of fuckery. It's like they put in hours and hours and hours on working like all these designs for like musicians or whoever else. And like I remember like I forget who it was, but one of my like someone that I know like had like Drake use their design or something like that, and it was like the first time they had someone like use like one of their bigger, or like a major artist use one of their designs. So of course they were freaking out about it. But I was just I remember like asking them, I was like, yo, like how much did Drake pay you, or like how much did Drake's management pay you? And they were just like, huh, like you're supposed to get paid? And I was like, yeah, if someone like Drake, who is making millions of money, millions of dollars a year of being a fucking recording artist,
yeah.
No, man, it's
I don't.
Exposure, man.
It's not. No, fuck. It's like fuck free exposure if you're doing work for millionaires. Like no, like
oh right,
yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah, like if a $1 million company or whoever else is gonna come up to me and be like, yo, can we use your songs for free? Like for free exposure, I would tell them to fuck off.
For free for you.
Right. Well, it's interesting because I know a lot of people, especially before shows started getting like destroyed and now there's like fucking nothing. People thought that the line "I'll pay you an exposure" was like worthy of anything, and at sometimes it is, depending on what you think exposure will actually get you. But not a lot of people are realizing that bands still need to get paid. You know what I mean?
Let me just tell you, if someone's trying to book you a show and they say you, okay, like for any musician watching this right now, if someone's trying to book you a show and they say they'll pay you an exposure, tell them you will not pay that show. You will not play that show, because artists, musicians especially, deserve their money. You know, like, fuck all this like play for free sort of shit. When like, you know, the venues that you're gonna be playing at are gonna make way more money than you are. Like, you know, I've seen too many people, include like even my own family members, like get fucked over in this situation. And it's just like I won't stand by it anymore. Like I put my foot down at this fucking point. Like I'm, you know, like I like, yeah, free exposure is cool and all, but it's like it comes to a point where I need to pay bills, you know?
Yeah, I feel like the idea of exposure too, like at its core, like giving people exposure is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just become this cycle of, oh, you're exclusively going to be paid in exposure. And it just becomes this thing of, oh, now the artists who are being paid in exposure are now being victim to having their value completely stripped away from their work. And that kind of gives them the identity of, oh, this is a free artist. Like, oh, well, like they never get paid. So we'll never pay them because they'll always just be that exposure band or something. Like that happens to so many people.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
just
Yeah, I mean, and shit, like we're not even asking for like that much either. It's like I feel like, you know, if anything, like if you play a show and you get paid and like, you know, each person walks out with $20, that's like, I feel like that could be a show where everyone could walk out happy, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
like,
would be thrilled.
You know, if any, or like even $10, you know, it's like.
Plus like exposure.
Yeah. And it comes with exposure already. So
and
it's
you
like
meet some people.
And also,
so it's like
when people are going to shows and they're paying at the door for a show, like the thing they're not realizing is they're not paying for the short set, the 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes that the band is going to be playing. They're paying for all of the practice that the band has done or that the artist has done and the gear that they're doing and the skills and the time and effort that they're putting in. Like, you're not buying the time, you're buying the energy and the holistic time that the artist has taken to to just work on their craft, you know.
You're also supporting the venue, which can, you know, with your funds can help, you know, continue throw shows and all that. So it's something where like, you know, I feel like it's not just an issue with like the listeners of being like, oh, like I don't want to spend that much money on like, you know, art because it's like, you know, it's something where it should just be enjoyable to everyone for free. Like, no, it's just something where like, you know, yeah, like you can enjoy something on a certain extent for free, but like, you know, it comes to a part where if you want to get, you know, better items and better things, you gotta chip in a little money. Like, that's just how it works. Like,
it's all about the community.
If we want to sound better, you know, like live, like we got to invest in our gear. Like that costs money. That's not free. Like it's
money,
you know, it's like, it's something where like playing these shows, it really does take a toll. And, you know, it's, I remember like, as you introduced us, you were like, oh, like, you know, you guys say yes to every show and also no to every show. I feel like in general, like the shows that we always say no to are the ones that are like, we'll pay you an exposure.
Yeah. Well, you know, that also kind of brings me to this next segment of the interview that I wanted to touch on, which is now you're starting to get new material out there, and having a band start new material is always exciting for not only the fans, but the band, but it's also, you can't see a band wanting to start a new project without seeing that people are willing to like support you. You know what I mean? Like people can start as many new projects as they want, but the effort to push out the next thing is what's kind of like, yeah, I need to get paid in order to like go into the studio, in order to start new things to promote this thing, like music videos, like merch, like, you know, just all that kind of stuff. It all starts with the fans being like, here's $5 to like go get gas, to go get this prop for this one music video that you're spending like $20 on, you know what I mean? So what I do want to touch on, if I'm allowed to, I'm going to ask for permission. Am I allowed to talk about, because this interview is probably going to come out when it's out, but the new song and new music video that you guys are making.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to name drop it now? Because it's
Yeah.
probably gonna come out after the video drops. But all right, so the interwebs are finally getting this new release from the Chonks called Neil Degrasse Tyson Hates Isaac Newton. Why does Neil hate Isaac?
Why not?
Neil
Okay.
Isaac.
Yeah, Neil hates Isaac.
Because Isaac's views on physics were just so elementary, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, ask Liam.
And also, he was just kind of a mansplainer.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
Isaac Newton? Newton?
Isaac Newton
Okay.
was. Not that Neil deGrasse Tyson was
Isn't?
not. He is
Also?
most definitely a mansplainer. But I was watching this weird interview like really late at night one time. And yeah, I've never seen Neil deGrasse Tyson angry because he's kind of a weird guy. He's just like composed scientist, but he was just going fucking in on Isaac Newton. He was like, this whole Apple business falling on his head, like that was so ridiculous. Like
He doesn't even curse. He just says it's ridiculous, or he uses like a bigger word that's like on the SAT.
I feel like
yeah.
if anything,
Like a
that's
little
way
bit of
more
stress.
mature. That's like way more mature and hurtful to say to someone. Like,
Yeah.
instead of calling someone like a fucking idiot, like if you're just like, oh, you're acting ridiculous. Like, I feel like that like hurts more.
It hurts a little bit more, right?
Coming from an astrophysicist, someone who like studies quantum realms and shit,
coming
he's like,
from someone,
you're ridiculous.
You know, like if someone like with a PhD came up to me and was like, you're ridiculous, I would be offended.
But if he was like, you're a fucking idiot, you're like, I am a fucking idiot. You're right. But if he says like, you're a nincompoop, you're like, fuck. Like, did I just get called a nincompoop by like fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson, who like talks about space and like mansplains stars to women and all that shit?
If that ever happens to you, you just gotta have to accept it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
Wear it with pride. So this song is going to be coming out soon, and are you dropping it with the music video simultaneously?
Yeah, so this will be out St. Patrick's Day, which this interview will probably be put out after.
Yeah,
that.
probably after. Yeah.
The song, we're trying to figure out if we can put it up on Spotify before, but most likely it will just be on Bandcamp and SoundCloud before we put out the EP in total. That's should we talk about the music video or like what's in it?
Yeah. I was gonna ask, like, what was the thought process behind what is now the finished project of this music video? Like, what made you want to do this music video?
No, I forget. Well, I mean, we've always wanted to like do a music video. That was, a goal of ours since like starting the band. But we just never really like, I guess, like put in like the extra time and effort to just set aside like, a couple of weekends and just be like, okay, we'll film here for this amount of time. And like, just, we never really like took charge on something like that ever before. So yeah, this is, this was something that's like, was new to us in this whole process. But generally like, we like, I'm pretty sure we started planning this, like around November, maybe October of last year, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but either or.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't very planned, pretty much. It was like, so we're thinking of, we have another song called Gamer Girl Bathwater, and just the imagery of a bath was funny to us. Or
Shout out to Belle Delphine.
Yeah. It was interesting to us.
Who's that?
And so we kind of wanted to, do something with baths. That's like what we knew, but we didn't really have any direction with it. And we knew we wanted to include like some good friends of ours in the video. And
yeah.
So we kind of did the like Iceland, Greenland thing where we got bathtubs in the music video for Neil deGrasse Hates Isaac.
Yeah. Even though, like, the song Neil deGrasse Hates Isaac Newton has nothing to do with bathtubs.
Maybe it does.
Maybe it does,
It does.
Maybe it does.
Video does.
Yeah.
But Gamer Girl Bathwater doesn't have a music video that has bathtubs in it. So
yeah.
Okay.
it's just like Just some.
Yeah,
silly.
maybe for if we ever make a music video for Gamer Girl, we'll just include a bunch of scientists or something.
Just throw a left wrench at people, being like, "You thought."
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah. Punching the gearbox from out of left field.
As someone who was part of this music video, as a great honor as it was, when Ari sent me the text and I wrote it down on the computer, quote, "We just want you to kind of do whatever you want in a bathtub." And I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "Well, what do you want to do?" So I won't give away what I do in the music video. I'll just let people watch this interview, and if they haven't seen the music video, to go watch it. But why did you just kind of give free realm to anyone involved in this project to kind of just do whatever you want?
I don't like telling people what to do.
Especially when they're in the bath.
Yeah, I feel
Gotcha.
like it's already awkward enough, like, to tell someone, like, that's standing in a bathtub, like, oh, hey, do this. Like, if anything, I feel awkward enough. Like, I felt awkward sending you that text being like, yo, like, stand in my fucking bathtub. Like,
Can I tell a little story? Basically, we just started jamming again, and we were rehearsing, and we were talking about other things that we should work toward, music video rise and post-production of the album, the EP. And I'm like, all right, Ari, but seriously, like, we have this list of people who helped us along the way, and we want them to help us film the music video. But how am I gonna ask them to, like, come over and film a bath scene? And Ari says, well, let me tell you what I told Sam and other people. I told them they could do whatever they want. It would just include them standing in the bath. They could be fully clothed. It didn't matter. And I was like, okay, good point. So, like, that's where the whole, like, be very open came from, was just to, like, avoid awkwardness. And also, it ended up, like, being a very interesting, almost social experiment where, like, it's always really awkward at first. And then you kind of get warmed up and you get into it and it becomes really fun. So
yeah, I feel like for everyone that was part of that process, and by the way, I might as well just say it here. Thank you to Sam and everyone else who was involved with the process. You guys mean the world to us. Anyway, and now I forgot what I was about to say.
Something about the process of making the video?
So when everyone was, first entering the tub, I felt like there was the whole sense of, like, everyone's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then, like, as soon as we got everything set up and we just, like, hit the record button, that's when everyone's, like, natural state kind of took over. And it really worked out in a beautiful way, like, I felt like everyone showcased a unique personality behind each one of their characters, whatever they did in this video. And, we tell a unique story in it, I'll say.
Yeah. You guys literally gave free realm to anyone involved in this. So because you guys didn't want to make it awkward by saying what to do in a bathtub, did it still come out the way that you wanted it to come out, even with everyone doing just whatever they wanted, even like the most ridiculous things that I won't give away if you haven't seen the video?
I had no idea how I wanted it to come out, to be honest. Honestly, a lot of the expectation was from the process, in my opinion. Like, I didn't have any expectation because, like, obviously now I can call ourselves filmmakers, but, like, I don't call myself a filmmaker. I don't call myself a cinematographer. But, like, technically, like, we all directed some scenes, and I had to act as the cameraman, and I've never really done that before. We don't have experience, but just I feel like our lack of experience kind of just made it a super organic and not so crunchy, like 90-degree annoying, like, I don't know, just overthinking fuckery process. Like, it wasn't that, thankfully.
It's like Ari once told me, if you have really low expectations, you're less likely to be disappointed. And I also learned something in school about, like, the power of intentions over expectations. So we didn't necessarily expect to make this cool music video where everyone's in a bathtub and it's like, we didn't have that expectation, but we had that intention. So we intended to make a music video which included bathtubs. And you're more likely to find success when you have mindful intentions and not so much expectations that are rigid, because then you're more likely to be disappointed, I think.
and this music video is something you guys haven't done before. You guys stated that this was something you've always wanted to do but haven't done. Does that kind of like have a running theme with this new EP that will eventually be coming out whenever you guys are finished? Is this something that was stuff you always wanted to do but never got to, or is it again another like fuck it, we did something, here it is, and we like what we did kind of thing?
Well, the EP is already done, so we're just
Okay.
Yeah, we're just right now we're sort of creeping in on releasing it. We don't want to give anything away.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, with this whole album, I guess I'm sorry, with this whole EP, it was just I felt like with everything that we did, recording it was a whole different process for us than what we're used to recording. So normally, for all of our other releases, we've recorded them at someone's house, or if it was demos, we probably did it in Duncan's garage or something like that. But for this EP, we actually recorded it at the Smell, which is a place that I'm sure we frequent a lot, and we felt like we did that for two reasons. One, it was to pay a tribute towards the venue that pretty much gave us a chance when not a lot of other venues did, and they helped us out in so many different ways. I can't even begin to list them. It's just. But and then it was also just something where I feel like a lot of people compliment our sound at the Smell. They always be whenever I see you guys at the Smell, I feel like you guys always sound really good there. Surprisingly, I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I've heard that for whatever reason. I guess people just don't.
I think the Smell has the worst sound and the best sound because it is the worst.
Yeah.
It's so good and
okay.
So fun.
It's a contradiction within itself.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, I don't want to get too involved with how we recorded this, because that will just take me 2 hours to talk about.
Sure. Okay.
It's just it's something where going into recording this, we sort of we're just okay, we're just gonna go into the Smell and set it up right then and there. We didn't really have an idea of let's set up an amp here, let's set up an amp there, yada. Most bands do that when they're.
We were should we do it in the lobby? Should we do it on the stage?
Yeah.
Should we do it on the ground?
We were literally just all over the place. We were just we I'm pretty sure at one point we stuck Jake's kit into the bathroom or something like that. So, it's to just fuck around to see what that sounded like in there. And then we finally settled on different places for everyone to stand while we were recording. And it was funny because I'm if I remember correctly, it was Jake was on the stage, Liam was on the floor right in front of the stage, and then I was in this corner right next to the pillar that's kind of close by to the sound booth.
The big metal thing.
Yeah, the big metal pillar.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure Gabe, our engineer, was just set up right in the middle of all that, and was just in the whole middle of that wall of sound going on, because it's normally you just have all your amps set up in one area, but we had it all over the place.
Let's just say we live for the fuckery.
DIY.
Yeah. Well,
DIY
that
everything.
Yeah, we don't like telling people what to do, and we don't like being told what to do.
I like that. I think that's a good way to also make sure we leave mystery for this new EP, and just knowing how it was recorded and all that. It's something to look forward to, because I know the Chonks are a band that you need to see live to just kind of understand the hype for. So with that in mind, I do have just a couple more questions for you guys, and these are questions that I think should always be filmed versus just in an interview typing wise. But you're probably the one band that I'm really close with that always has a good story to tell about either a show they played or a tour that they did or something like that. Does any story come to mind that you guys are willing to share, one that everyone can listen to, that just will always kind of be ingrained in your mind?
Which story?
I have a funny story.
Yeah, go off.
And they went into a gas station, and I went to pee, and they said that they saw me peeing on video inside the gas station because there's cameras all around.
Where'd you pee?
You want to talk about how you lost your crown during that same tour as well?
Oh, yeah. And another time we were in San Francisco, and I was eating these peanut butter Nature Valley bars, that have like peanuts and stuff in them, and I bit into it, and then I bit onto something really hard, and it was my crown had gotten pulled out by the
shit.
And so we went to get like some concrete, like dentist shit to like glue my tooth back in, and it didn't work. And literally I had an exposed tooth that had been like sanded down by the dentist. I couldn't drink water, it was so sensitive. And like I just kind of got over it after the next 2 weeks or whatever, and like I went back to the dentist and they were just like, oh my god. we're gonna have to redo the whole crown because the tooth is shifted and like changed.
Fuck.
That was pretty fun.
And this happened like right before we played a show as well. And I just remember like Duncan was like about to leave the venue to like go get this concrete first. And I was like, where the fuck are you going? Like, we're about to play. Like, like, and he was just like, my tooth fell out. And I was just like, and I was like, wait, you're not joking.
That was pretty
Did it get infected?
No, it was fine. Just hurt.
The Bay Area always has good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably the same day we came across. Was it? No.
No, that was a different show. But I know what you're about to talk about.
Yeah,
But there was I gotta think. I always love telling this story. So the first time we played Portland, we played a Monday night's house show in a basement. You know, I figured like, oh, this will probably bring like 20, 30 people.
Rat Kingdom.
Yeah, Rat Kingdom. Shouts out Rat Kingdom if you guys are watching this. 250 people showed up to this fucking basement show on a Monday night. And it was like the most lit show I've been to this day. I to this day, I always talk about like my quote unquote 4 hours in Portland, because I'm just like, that's all I really did was just play this show and then I turned around. And then I'm pretty sure like they all like slept in the back that night. Of the van that night, and I just drove like straight to Santa Cruz the next day, and like I just remember it like 30 minutes outside of Santa Cruz. Like I was driving for like 13 hours straight at this point, or 12 hours straight, and I just remember like it just got to the point where I pulled over in the middle of the freeway and I just stopped the car and I was like, I'm seeing colors.
Yeah.
You guys take over. And like that first, like you're fucking like at first, they're always just like, oh no, we're like you're fucking lost.
I never said that. I took the whateal.
Liam did drive reluctantly.
Well, no. But like there was other times where like whatever. Like I would just be like, guys, I'm so tired. Like you guys doing, and y'all would be like, no, like you got it. Like and then but then like this time I'm pretty sure like it was like legit. Like I looked like I was about to just like pass the fuck out. So and like Liam was sitting right next to me, so he grabbed the wheel. But like that was the one time where I was legit scared, like where I was like, I might crash the car and die.
Is that from pure exhaustion, like the seeing colors kind of shit? Like just pure, yeah. What's up? What's up?
I can be exhausted all the time. But for me, it's like, I like when I'm normally up for like more than like 24 hours, which I've done here and there. Like I tend to like start seeing like shapes and colors, like, and then like I will also see sounds, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does, because I've been there.
Yeah, like that's the cool part to me. I'm just like, I remember like at like 6 a.m, like we were driving through like Weed, California or something like that. And I was just like, I was like blasting fucking Dope Smoker, like while these people were sleeping in the back. And it was just like, I just remember hearing, like just seeing the bass, like just.
No, it was just like coming in your vision. You're like, fuck.
And I was like,
all right. So I got 2 more questions for you guys. I know the EP is done, but if you could forget about it being ever a project that you ever were working on, and you could start a new project, but instead it was a rebranding of yourself to be a cover band, what band would you choose and why? And would you tour this new project of covers?
Funny you should
do I even need to say it?
Yes, you absolutely do, because I need this on film so that way it can be true.
All right, now since everyone needs to hear this out
loud,
you
need to say it.
A Limp Bizkit cover band.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would. Well, what songs would you cover? Like top 3? What's the? Yeah,
just like we would have the entire repertoire of Limp Bizkit in the back of our head. Like I'm pretty sure we can get ourselves to that level of musicianship, right?
Duncan, are you cool with being a Fred Durst like cover?
I mean, like I would rather be the original, but if it's
Right.
you know, if that's the next best thing, then yeah, sure, I'll go with that.
Yeah. What would you call yourselves?
Bimp Liskit.
Bimp Liskit.
Bimp Liskit. Would it all be for the nookie though?
No, B for the bookie.
Oh, okay. All for the bookie now.
Like all
Everything. Yeah.
But the only thing was like all of our song titles would start with the B emoji. So it'd
Okay.
be, like, behind blue eyes, but it would behind.
Even though that's a cover of a cover.
the B emoji.
Eyes.
Even though, so you
Imagine
would be covering a Limp Bizkit cover of a Who song.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Super.
Sick. All right. Well, that's probably the only answer I was actually looking forward to in this interview. I just wanted you to admit that you wanted to be a Limp Bizkit cover band.
Oh, I'm the only one that will admit that. They don't want to do it.
I thought you wanted to be an Avril Lavigne cover band.
No, that was when I was 13. When I turned 14, that's when Limp Bizkit.
I feel like I'm 13-year-old Ari then, because now I want to be in an Avril Lavigne cover band. That shit would be tight.
I'm
all right.
excited for new music to come out though. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I was gonna ask, do you guys know if there's gonna be anything else leading up to it other than single drops, like anything in terms of like special releases?
Yeah, so we'll have cassettes out along with the EP, and we're also going to be doing a bundle for limited edition 20 late cut records, which we're still trying to figure out what kind of merch item we're going to put with it, but I think we're aiming towards a hoodie to be to go along with that, and then probably just the more new merch as well. Like we're working on like newer designs for and like also just like new colorways for the original Chonks logo stuff. So
sick. The last question I have for you guys is, because I desperately miss shows, as we were talking about at the beginning of this interview. One of the things I really do miss about Chonk shows in particular is just energy, whether it's from you guys or the fans or just the night itself. Is there one thing, it could be so extreme that it will probably never happen, or it could be actually realistic. Is there one thing that you guys would want to do, either as an accomplishment or as like a stunt, for the next couple of shows that you guys would start doing once things are back to normal, whether it be firing everyone on the spot, or like blowing something up without the venue's permission, or I don't know, just starting like a really big mosh pit after not being able to touch people for 2 years?
I feel like this is probably something where we're all gonna have different answers.
Yeah.
Who wants to start off with this? Me? Okay,
I'm
fine.
interested
Okay, so personally, I've always been into pyrotechnics. I'm always just a fan of lighting shit on fire. So I've always found it cool, like when drummers would light their cymbals on fire. But I always thought, like, it'd be interesting to see how long you can keep like guitar on fire and have that still playing. And I've always wanted to mess around with that, just like maybe for like a couple of shows, just like light a guitar on fire, like just keep it going for an entire song or so, and then put it out right after that. But I'll probably have to find like some cheap ass like $100 guitar off of Craigslist that I can like use, like
Probably
times and then destroy.
probably like fire retardant like clothing too, wouldn't you say? No, you want to set yourself on fire as well with your guitar?
Yeah, if the guitar is gonna catch on fire, I might as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fair enough.
I'm with the guitar, so.
Okay, Liam, what about you?
Fuck. I've got some weird things going on in my head that I need to flush out. Maybe, how about, okay, including consenting adults only.
18 plus show only.
18
Yeah,
plus
okay.
Everyone at the show is naked. I want that. Wow.
Like you're not allowed to enter the show unless you are nude.
Yes, if you have any clothing on, you can have shoes, obviously.
Okay.
And I feel like that's gonna be something that's probably gonna pop off like after COVID, like like orgy clubs and shit.
Naked show with no groping, no.
Oh yeah.
No fuckery.
Yeah. Like we wouldn't. Yeah, like we would try to. I don't know how we would do that show.
Well,
but
that works with my answer. I was gonna say I want to have a social distance mosh club.
What would that be?
like 6 feet apart, moshing.
So like they're in their own bubbles and they can't touch
like,
anyone.
Circles, but like everyone is spaced out apart. So you could be naked, you could be on fire. It doesn't matter.
You got like a ruler sticking out so you don't hit the other person.
Your meter sticks.
Yeah.
Right. You got someone like patrolling the like naked areas, making sure that no one's outside of their bubble.
Yeah.
And then Ari's on fire. Liam gets naked people, and Duncan gets a social distance mosh pit where no one's touching each other.
That's gonna be our first
Yeah.
show. Nude, social distance mosh pit, and I'm on fire.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect, man. Is there anything that you guys want to add? Anything that you want to tell people? Anything that you want to promote that I haven't touched on? Anything at all?
Nothing really. I mean, I feel like you covered everything, but music video and single for Neil deGrasse Tyson, Hayes Isaac Newton's coming out March 17th, St. Patrick's Day.
Probably after when this
probably after
comes.
this.
Yeah.
The EP itself, it will be out on all streaming platforms, cassettes. We'll have limited edition release cut records.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I don't know what about y'all.
I just want to say Ted Cruz is the Zodiac Killer.
Fuck Ted
Absolutely, 1000% he is the Zodiac Killer.
Rest in peace, Sophie. But fuck
Yes.
R.I.P. Sophie.
Yeah, absolutely. Duncan, your last word?
Shirts
Make it good.
We've got shirts for sale. What was I gonna say? Nothing important.
Help out your local bands. Like anybody in the scene, just help out your local bands. Like
Yeah.
we appreciate you, and
Yeah,
we
thank you
hope
all.
that you
Thank
can
you, Sam.
appreciate us.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate this. I appreciate getting a legendary Chonks interview in, and you finally admitting that you are going to be a Limp Bizkit cover band.
Yes.
But also, dude, you know what? It's the fucked up thing is that I thought that was going to be like the most radical thing I'd catch on this camera, but it was fucking the Johnny Tsunami fucking conversation. We went from Johnny Tsunami to Cock and Ball T-rture to your new EP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're great with conversation. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm speechless to think that I'm gonna have to edit this now and realize we're gonna get fucking copyrighted by Disney Channel for talking about Johnny Tsunami this way.
They didn't make any money off of that movie. They ain't gonna do shit.
They forgot.
Yeah, they forgot about it already.
Oh yeah, basically a little thing that I would always say when we were naming this is, I'd call it Johnny, we're gonna get sued Nami.
Yes, you are. Yes, you absolutely are.
Wanted to name it just Johnny Tsunami, but then like I forget if it was Liam or Duncan who came up of just being like, oh, let's just call it that but backwards, and I was like, how the fuck do you even pronounce that? And
how do you pronounce it again?
Wait, what's up?
How do you pronounce it again?
Imanust Ynnhoj. So it's pretty much like I can't remember.
Yeah,
It's God.
TSU Nami.
No, but it starts with the I
because Tsunami ends with an I.
Yeah, because it ends. It's something where like I don't even remember how to spell tsunami at certain times. So it's like
I don't either.
Don't expect me to spell this shit backwards. That's all.
No, I'm not gonna expect you to do. I thought you were gonna pull some fucking meaningful bullshit out of your mouth, being like, "Yeah, I went to like Japan and I got this fucking like piece of paper that some old legendary man gave me, and it meant like go absolute batshit crazy." But instead, you said Johnny Tsunami. So.
Johnny Tsunami backwards.
Man, I'm gonna go use the restroom.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys a lot, and yeah, thank you. I can't wait for everyone to come out.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
What should I write?